greatly increased by the time the session is over. You guys have done some incredible social networking posts I've seen over this past couple weeks. Judd Fox and Bonnie have some amazing call to action ads. If you haven't seen them yet, go to Judd Fox or Bonnie Fox's Instagram and look at the ads. Those are brilliant ads. Patrice does ads like that as well. What you really want to take notice of those ads is the call to action. It's something that is typically forgotten in advertising and marketing. You put a lot of good stuff out there, and then people don't know how to respond to it. They don't know how to get to you. Tell them what to do. Tell them how to get to you. Tell them the next step they need to take. Judd and Bonnie have absolutely fantastic ads that show their desire to serve, their aggressiveness, their ability to market, and just people that you want to be with and you want to work with. So wanted to congratulate Judd on those ads. They really are incredible. And keep going with it, man. I see them. Other people see them. I know they're effective. So great job with that. Anybody in the group, we're going to start 11:05, 5 past the hour, Tuesday, June 29th. It's Lee Gimbel. My father is 76 years old today. He's a great man. He taught me everything I know, taught me how to work hard, taught me how to have good manners and respect, and I love him very much. Just wanted to give him a shout out. And anybody have any wins? Any wins they want to discuss over the past week? I would love to hear.
I'll start.
Okay.
I had 2 closings this past over the weekend, Friday and then yesterday, both Op City, buy and sell. Wonderful family that I had the pleasure of working with from Rolling Meadows. They're a foster family. A little hiccup on their financing end. And we thought we were going to have to push our closing till next Friday. And from some wonderful money magic that my lender that I use regularly, Erik, Brad, he was able to get us a clear to close for yesterday. So instead of having to push it back a week, we got everything done, and they're all moved into their new home, moved out of their old home, and rocking and rolling. So Nikki, great job. Unbelievable. So you had 3 closings in the last week. Is that accurate? 2.
So
yeah.
So with the closing, with the sell and the buy, the people that were buying, was it their loan that was delayed, your clients, or the people buying their house?
No, my clients buying their new house. So we closed on their house. We were supposed to close on both houses on Friday on the same day. There was a hiccup with the financing on my client's end for buying their new house. And they had to change it from a conventional loan to an FHA loan and needed to come up with a crap ton of extra documents, like 4 or 5 days before our closing date.
Wow.
We actually got our clear to close on Wednesday and could have closed on Friday, but it was too short notice for the title company, so we had to move it to Monday. But we got through it. We got everybody into the houses that they wanted to be in. There was hiccups with my clients' movers. Their cat ran away in the middle of the moving. It was kind of crazy, but end of the day, everybody got where they needed to go.
All that matters. It's all that matters. And how did you reassure? Did your clients need any reassuring that their loan would close from you?
Absolutely. I mean, I keep in pretty close contact with my clients throughout the process. Sometimes it can be a long time between, the AI and finishing that up and actual closing date. But I make sure to touch base frequently, and they called me freaking out, like, oh, now we have to change this loan. We're not going to get our financing. And I basically reassured them that if I felt that there was going to be an issue, I would know, because Brad is very communicative and keeps me informed 100% along the way. Yep. So I told them that too, is that, I've talked to Brad, I've talked to the lender. He's not given me any reason to set off the alarms yet. So I can assure you that things are gonna happen the way that they need to happen. Just, have faith and a little bit of patience, and we'll get it worked out.
So brings up a good point. So I had a few closes last week as well, and there was one where the buyer's loan, they kept asking for mortgage contingency extension requests. They're extending the mortgage contingency multiple times. So they set it for let's call it, they set it for like May 25th. Then they were asking for June 4th, then June 11th, then June 18th. And it kept extending. And as this was occurring, my sellers are like, what the F is going on? Like, is this person going to close? Do we have to start from square one? Do we have to get out of this contract? Should we allow another mortgage contingency request? Or extension request. So as long as I've been doing this and as successful as I think I am, I really learned a lesson. Just because I know everything's going to be okay, just because I know that that's the norm, these mortgage, extension request, mortgage contingency extension requests, just because I know they're the norm doesn't mean my client knows. And it wasn't okay for me to tell them once. I need to reassure them every single time. I've checked with the lender. Everything is fine. This is just about, crossing the T's, dotting the I's. They always ask for extra paperwork. They got the conditional approval. This loan is absolutely going to happen. And due to me not communicating that so soundly and confidently with them, they actually got a little upset with me. They actually didn't lock up their lease, and they actually felt that they were kind of left in the dark. I felt from my end that I was being very, very clear about, I have no doubts. I'm very confident. No need to worry, part of the process. But the bottom line is, folks, we do this every day. I've done hundreds and hundreds of transactions. So they don't know that. Most people sell 3 houses in their lifetime. These folks hadn't sold a house in 25 years. So now I know that when stuff comes up that I take for granted, and I know that it's a lock and it's going to happen, I need to instill that confidence in my clients as well. Very important.
And that was one of the things too, is, and sometimes you have to be very straightforward with people who are, your clients, because they, like Erik said, they don't do this every day. They're not dealing with this on a daily basis. And my client called me and she was frustrated, and she's like, they keep asking for more documents. I feel like we've given them everything. I don't know what else they need from me. Very frustrated and upset. And I said, listen, I know it's frustrating. I know it's upsetting, but getting these documents is the difference between, closing a week later than we wanted to, or not closing at all. So I know it's frustrating. I know that it's something that's, you feel like you're doing everything that you can do. I said, as long as you get those documents in, I can guarantee you we're going to close, but it's just going to be a few days later than you wanted. And, having that conversation and being straightforward and kind of putting it on. I'm like, listen, you got to get the documents in. Otherwise, this isn't going to happen. I know that it's hard. I know that it's frustrating, but if you get those documents in, you're going to have a house next week.
Yep. Absolutely. No, absolutely. So anybody else want to share?
I know, it's weird.
A win or two.
It's weird. I think I talked the attorney down off the ledge. I don't deal I'm under contract for. It's just weird. Like normally, the client, the seller, the buyers are good. But their attorney is being weird, and I don't know. So I'm giving him therapy, I guess. I don't know if he's just high strung, but I don't know if that's a normal thing either. But I'm like, you try to be in communication with the attorney when you're in attorney review, but he's just a little stressed, and I'm like, okay, anyway, so.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, though. That's a great point. In a transaction, when you're the real estate broker, if you want to be a real successful real estate broker, you need to be the point guard. You need to be the quarterback. You need to be the one that's communicating with all parties, because sometimes it won't get done if you're not. That means the inspector. That means the buyer's broker if you're the list agent, or the listing agent if you're the buyer's broker. That means your attorney, not the other attorney, but that means your attorney you want to communicate with. You want to communicate with your clients. You want to communicate with as many parties as possible and make sure, because if you don't, you got to be careful with attorneys. Sometimes attorneys have bad days and they send a bad email, and that bad email is sent from the attorney that it's sent to the clients, and the clients get pissed off and they end up walking. I've seen it happen. It does happen. It's very, very important. Attorneys are valuable for sure, but it's very important their ego doesn't get in the way and that you check them when they do that. And that starts with communication. Every time that I have an attorney that my client has chosen that I haven't worked with, I say the following. I said, look, I'm a little different than the rest of the real estate brokers. I'm very, very aggressive. I'm very, very hands-on in every single aspect of this transaction. I need to be copied to every single email. Every email that you send, I want to see as well. You know what? 60% of the time, the attorneys are like, go F yourself. But you know what? 100% of the time, they bring their A game. They bring their A game because I already teed them up from the beginning. Suggesting that might be your style. It's definitely my style. My point is you need to communicate in real estate, and you need to communicate after you go under contract. That's where we lose the future business. That's where we lose the referral. A lot of times brokers think once this property goes under contract, my job is done. Actually, no. That's when your job really, really starts. The inspection is very, very contentious. The loan is difficult to achieve. There's the appraisal. There's the emotions of buying a new home. There's movers that your clients are going to need, cleaners. They're going to need maybe service repairmen to repair items. If you agree to repair items during the inspection, you must be present for the whole entire transaction. That's the difference between a great broker and an average broker. So great shares. Anybody else will win? Any wins? Let's get one more on the board. No? Nobody?
I'll jump in.
There you go. There he is.
I got to win. And although I know I spoke last week about getting into Op City and getting my score up with the algorithm, I've got one client, and granted a lease, right? But I got one client under contract. I got another one with a couple applications in. I'm also working with a buyer, and actually have a question for you guys. So one of the challenges we're having with the buyer is his father is a house flipper. So he keeps kind of falling back on the point that, when he goes to sell the home, maybe in 3, 4, 5 years, it's not going to go up in value. So what tips or kind of, questions or comments can I make to kind of counteract that, where I know he's going to be creating equity by paying down his mortgage, but what would you say to a buyer who kind of comes at you and says, well, I don't see myself selling this place for more than I'm buying it for now. So what would you say to somebody like that? But working with buyers, got a contract in on a lease and an application in. So great week. Appreciate you guys for all the help and support. Without you, couldn't have been possible.
Oh, Judd, that's amazing. That's amazing. Just first off, addressing the leases, I told you guys before, I rented places my first 8 months in real estate just to get the feel for a transaction. It is so important. It's a quick way to get money in your pocket, but more importantly, it's a really good tutorial on how to close a transaction, because the same exact thing with a sale. It's really no different. You find a place, you write a contract, the contract gets accepted, boom, you're in. There's obviously different paths you have to take to, home ownership. Is a lot more, more of a process, but what a great intro to real estate to get into leases. I highly recommend it. You can make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, whatever it is. That's fantastic. I still take leases to this day. So that's awesome. In terms of the buyer and the father that's a house flipper and is really into valuation, and, he might be a house flipper, but your client probably isn't. It looks like your client's trying to buy retail and live in the house. I would say this: we're in a really, really healthy market right now, and it's also all relative. So anybody that's buying a house is going to have the same set of perceived advantages or challenges. First of all, it's way better to buy a house than to rent. To rent right now, you're absolutely throwing your money away unless you're transitional and don't know where you want to live. But with buying, you're locking in really good interest rates, prime interest rate, which is phenomenal. It couldn't be cheaper to buy real estate right now. Furthermore, the direction of the market is pointing squarely up. There is no reason to think. I know here in Chicago we got 11% appreciation. I'm going to call it closer to 13 or 14% appreciation when you factor in a lot of the multiple offers. Everywhere in the country is really suggesting that this market is going to continue to appreciate. So, let's just say modestly that where your clients are buying, it's going to appreciate 5%. Modestly, let's just say that. If he owns a property for 4 years, it's going to appreciate 20%. So I really just think that to buy any real estate right now, as long as you're careful and do your due diligence with the comps and the valuations and you get a good appraisal, which you're going to do, you should be fine. Your client will make money on their real estate. Now, just switching gears a second, it also depends on how long they own the property. If someone's been planning to own the property for 10 plus years, I'm not going to say purchase price isn't important. It is. but it's less important because they're going to be in the market for a bunch of cycles, and they're going to enjoy their home. They're going to be it for a while, and it's really not their end game to make a huge rip on their real estate after owning it for 10, 15, 20 years. But for someone that's shorter term, for someone that's, maybe buying a house for 2, 3, or 4 years, there's a few options to them as well. I mean, obviously they can take the 12, 15, 20% appreciation over the short period of time, or they can rent their property out. Renting their property out is another way you can continue to cash flow. You can get tax advantages. So there's really multiple advantages to owning real estate. And anyone that's going to come in and say, I'm concerned that I'm not going to get any money on my real estate is just inaccurate, and they're wrong, and they're coming from a completely different vantage point, because what they're trying to do is buy low, add value, and then sell. That's a completely different experience than a retail buyer.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that helpful, Judley?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Plus one thing you can mention also, like someone's thinking about like leasing instead, or I get a lot of people in the Opcity leads that are looking to lease, and they're saying, oh, they're trying to wait out the market. And I'm like, well, if you're renting, this is an expensive market. You're paying for that premium in your lease. You're not escaping it by renting. You're just, you're still paying that premium, but you're paying that. So that's another thing. Just be like, yeah, you're not escaping the, this, perceived bubble of, where the real estate market is by renting, because you're paying for it.
Right. That's absolutely right. And rentals are even in higher demand, just because all the people that, like, I'm an investor and I own some properties, I sold them because I can get top dollar. Obviously, as an investor, you want a cash flow, right? But if you ever have an opportunity to sell real estate at top dollar, you sell. No questions asked. So now all these investors are selling the real estate they used to be buy and holds, and now people have actually occupied them as retail buyers that are living in those properties. So now there's even less rentals. So Rick's right. It's just a supply and demand game. So it's definitely better to be a buyer.
Yeah, there's a squeeze. I live in, for those that don't know, I live in the Palm Springs area. I live in La Quinta, better known as Palm Springs area. So it's a vacation resort destination. We have a transient population here. And right now, the rental market is getting squeezed so tight. There are no homes to rent that are like under $2,500 a month. So, we're seeing a squeeze. The competition for rentals is coming from people who are building homes that are, in rentals until their homes are built, people who have sold that don't want to put money into a new house, so they're renting. So I don't know if you all are feeling it in your towns, if you are even doing it, but the rental market is getting squeezed real tight right now.
100% right on the screws. I mean, Judley, talk about a fully functioning broker right now. You are on the screws with everything, dude. That is a spot-on analysis of the whole entire country. And you bring up a really good point. People building, a lot of people are also short-term living in places. They don't know where they're going to go. They don't know what their next move is. They might want to move out of state. So there's a lot of transition. When there's a lot of transition, there's a lot of rental demand. And now there's fewer rentals. So, yeah, you're paying astronomical prices. So thank you for the shares, Nicole, Judd. And just wanted to – I kind of took too much time here, like I always do. I might bounce past Nikki soon, but – does anybody, I just wanted to ask one question. We're not going to be able to cover everything I wanted to cover, but we can leave it for another session. Is there anything that anybody in the room is struggling with that they would love to get some direction on in this session or future sessions? Is there anything that in your business that you either want to get started, have tried and haven't been successful, something you've done in the past that you'd like to start up again? Is there anything at all that you're struggling with that we could help you with?
Say, Erik?
Yeah.
This is Al. I'm over in
Hey,
Traverse
Al.
City.
Hey, Al.
Good. I have a business model. And I had a tendency to get a little impatient with the struggle. It's actually a pleasant problem. The whole issue and strategy around what we're doing is creating inventory that's not there. Of course, by doing new builds. When we're doing new builds, we can actually do them in about 6 months on a custom home by using some of the automation and technology. What's happening is that once we engage with the client, it seems like they want to go back customizing and not taking advantage of what our core advantage is. It was the timeline and creative design. Good thing is I've got them stacked up. Bad thing is it takes to get them make decisions on design. And to give an example, I just have one here from Houston, bought a $2,000 lot in downtown Traverse City, and we're designing a custom for them. And it's been going on now for about 6 days. In fact, she called me. We're doing another Zoom call on tomorrow, and sign a contract. We're going to build a home. They're not taking advantage of our core competency. I had a real estate agent in my home Saturday morning doing a deal with them on a new build for a $1.2 home, $1.2 million home. They went back to Florida. I saw a listing for an existing home, asked them to consider it. And we made an offer of $1.2 million cash, no contingencies. Let's see what happens. We should find out today on that one. Then same thing with a tear down on Spider Lake. We're tearing a house down as a home, but it's just, they keep in mind in terms of moving through the process. And then most of my referrals and everything are all coming from competitors. Haves and wants, they have every Wednesday here in town, all the different realtors. And I go through the wants, and when I start calling them, I've actually loaded core, and I start calling them, they all want to have discussions. So I have no problem with pipeline at all. I have a problem getting stuff closed because of the secret.
Okay. So Al, I do have to apologize. You were cutting in and out a lot. It was tough to get all of that. I don't know if anybody else had the same thing. Nikki, was he cutting out a lot for you?
I got most of it.
Okay. So it sounds like so Al, I know you're building homes and you're trying to solve the inventory shortage problem. And it sounds like people are, for lack of a better word, they're flirting with you and they're getting very far along in the process with you, and then they want to over customize some of the stuff or go in a different direction. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, we're retaining the client, not hurting them at all. It's just that we were talking with my partner over the weekend. Do we stay with the same month? Do we tweak it? And we've only been doing this for about months now, and but we've got some deals are going to close. I would guess we're probably going to be at $3 or $4 million probably by summer then.
Okay, so let me ask you something. So it sounds like you're doing great. I mean, it sounds like you're like you said, you have a pipeline, you're creating a need. Obviously, it's very frustrating understanding that a lot of conversations, a lot of time spent, a lot of sweat equity, and some people don't move forward on a contract or want to close on one of your homes. But my question to you would be, what were your yearly goals for this project? What were your goals?
My goal this year was to do 2 homes a month.
Okay, where are you at now?
We're exceeding that in the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's happening, they're not taking advantage of the bill. Once they get into it and they see what we can do, they get excited. And the architect we have on staff, of course, getting an architect, then all of a sudden it gets very creative. They're staying with us. We're going to build the homes, but it's just taking longer. They're taking advantage of the short inventory in the market. Once they engage with it, then it's almost like they lose consciousness of why they came to us.
I see.
Yeah.
So they're extending the build time.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. So your goal is to sell 2 homes a month, and where are you at right now?
I've got about 8 right now under contract.
8 under contract. And this is currently, you have 8 homes under contract right now as we speak.
As we speak, not including that real estate one that I sold to a couple that couldn't afford a new build.
Uh-huh.
I sold them an existing home in TC closes probably next week or the week after. And then I'll find a 1.2 cell on water. And so that's part of the mix too. So actually, there's price right now.
Hey, Al, I don't think you have a problem at all. I think you have a solution. I think from my standpoint, what I'm hearing, you have a huge pipeline. You have 8 properties under contract right now. There's always growing pains in starting any kind of venture, and understanding that you've been doing this for a while. You do not have an issue at all. All you need to do is what you've done is you've found the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is that you said, hey, I want to design these homes so people could have a new place to live in 6 months. In 6 months. The clients are the ones that are getting with the architect, getting excited about the process, customizing stuff and that type of thing. There's really not an issue there. It's the clients that are kind of overtaking it, and the 6 months is becoming 9 months, 12 months, 15 months, whatever it is. If the only thing that I would suggest is that maybe you look at that aspect of the transaction where the clients get really excited and customize everything, and find out if there's any way you can streamline that, whether it be with the architect, whether it be with giving them options up front. I don't know enough about it to really intelligently comment that specifically, but I can tell you from what I'm hearing on my end, you're freaking crushing it, and you're on the heels of something awesome. And I definitely know I need to have a private conversation with you. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't change a thing. You already know what your minor challenge is that these build outs are taking longer. So just try to spend some time figuring out how you could tighten that up a little bit, and understand that a lot of it's out of your hands. When you're getting into people that are spending a lot of money for houses, they're going to want to design. They're going to want to customize, and that's kind of just the way it's going to be. But maybe there's other things you could do to streamline that process a little bit. But I'm telling you right now, from what I'm hearing, you're doing phenomenal, man. Phenomenal.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, because competitors are the ones bringing me the deals.
Yeah.
And in fact, my partner is a competitive agent, which is very unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means you have a good product. You know? That's exactly what that means. So, Al, let's set up a call. Hit me up on Workplace. Let's definitely get it happen. I know we've been back and forth a little bit. Let's make it happen. Let me see how I can hear more about your process. Hopefully I can get you more clients, and maybe we can, talk out some of the kinks that you're having. But dude, I mean, great work, man. That's awesome. Super impressive. Really impressed. So anybody else, folks, that's struggling with something that they wanted to ask us about for this session or future sessions?
Maybe for future session, I got my listing client having trouble agreeing on a list price. I guess that's the essential listing agent problem. Kind of like the 101 basic thing. So I'm having trouble convincing him what the price should be for listing.
Okay.
Here we go. So
listing price. Okay. Now just really quickly, don't want to spend too much time just so we're getting a little late, and I already I'm taking Nikki's time. What where you at? I mean, you did a CMA? You presented it with them?
Yeah, I did a CMA. I even had a contractor. It's a bit of a fixer-upper. I had a contractor come in and price out things that someone who's going to flip it, or someone who wants to just move in, what kind of how much work they're going to have to do. And I couched it okay, these is what houses that are ready to move in and this size and in this neighborhood are going for over the last 6 months, and where it sits and all that kind of stuff. So there was no real mystery as to where the price is supposed to be, and he was just he's just way over where it's supposed to be. So I'm
okay, so let's say the house is worth, I'm just throwing out, let's just say the house is worth 300, right? It's worth 300, and you got that the comps are just lock. It's a lock. It's worth 300. These comps are accurate. It's obvious. There's enough out there. There's similar type of homes, this and that. I'm okay in this market listing higher. You could say, hey, Mr. Seller, your house to me is worth $300,000. It's a seller's market for sure. You can take some liberties on list price, but understand that usually if you go too high in list price, it's going to hurt you in the end, because your house can be on the market for a long time. People are going to wonder what's wrong with it after 21 days on the market, because the market's so hot. What you could do if a house, let's say, is worth 300, and this guy's like, no, I think it's worth 350. Say, okay, you know what? Why don't we list for 349? I don't think this is the greatest strategy, but it is a strategy. Why don't we list for $349 because the market is that hot for 2 weeks? And in 2 weeks, I'm going to monitor 3 things. I'm going to monitor the online activity. I'm going to monitor how many showings you've had and the feedback of those showings. Those are the 3 factors in a listing. Those are the 3 factors. Obviously, you market the listing, you do all that stuff. But to really judge a listing, it's those 3 things. Online activity, which you can see. There's the MLS reports, Redfin reports, you can see, Zillow reports, feedback from showings, and the number of tours. If in a hot market, houses priced in the $300,000 range, if you're not getting at least 2 showings a week, there's something wrong with your price. And if after 21 days you're not getting like serious good feedback and or an offer, then you're overpriced. So you say, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm happy starting at this price. However, after 14 days, not 21, after 14 days, we need to come back, assess it, and potentially do a price adjustment. But
Okay.
it's much better to list closer to value. If something's 300, I like to list for 309. That's kind of the way I like to play it. So that's a good one, Rick, but we will go over that in future sessions for sure. We'll go more in about listing prices, valuations, CMAs, and all that good stuff. Anybody else having a struggle they'd like to share with us that we can cover in future sessions? You guys are all crushing it. I love it. For next sesh, I would love for you guys to set your goals. Goal setting's huge. I'm just going to rip off my 4 big goals, if you guys don't mind, really, really quickly. And then we're going to hand the floor over to Nikki. We might go over 5 or 10 minutes because I took so much of her time. So here's my number 1 goal. My number 1 goal, be more present to my children, Max and Grace, and my wife. And there's obviously detail behind these goals. Number 2, hit $25 million in real estate production by December 31st, 2021. Number 3, recruit 20 qualified brokers by December 31st, 2021. And number 4, beast mode physically, which means a whole foods diet 70% of the time, doing my Kinergy 4 times a week, doing my mirror workout 2 times a week, 1 boot camp workout, 1 boxing workout, yoga twice a week, Peloton once a week because I can't stand the Peloton, but I got to do it once. Pickleball 3 times a week with my wife, drinking 100 ounces of water a day, and getting down to my target weight of 175. Presently at 186. You guys wouldn't know, but I noticed. Those are my goals. I have obviously more detail behind all of them. I read about Beast Mode 1. Set your goals. Set your goals. Make your activities surrounding your goals and these outcomes that you want. Massive action plan. I'm going to bounce pass it over to Nikki Mertens. Nikki, floor is yours.
Hey guys, hope everybody's having a happy Tuesday. And just touching on goals, when I first kind of started off this year and got out of policing, my little baby goal was 6 million in production and sales, and just for the year, and I'll be hitting that by July. So yeah, exciting. And I have some other goals that I'll be setting as well for myself. And speaking to, things that you're struggling with, getting things off the ground, like I really need to hold myself accountable for my time. I tend to get distracted and 15 million things coming in all at once, and I lose track of the things that I have to get done during the day. So I make myself a little checklist in my calendar daily to try to keep myself focused and on task to make sure that I get everything done that I need to get done during the day so that I can stay productive. And sometimes those check marks are making sure I exercise or spend time with my kids or take the dog out or do whatever I have to do to keep myself focused and on task for the day. But enough about me. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to talk a little bit about those squeeze pages and landing pages that KV Core has available for free lead gen. Just because it's a super easy, quick, and free, efficient way of capturing more leads using your social media networks. I know that last week we were having trouble with this. Can everybody see my dashboard here? All right.
Yep.
So it's going to be under lead engine over here on your shortcuts to build a squeeze page or build a landing page. The squeeze pages I like because they're so multifunctional. You can do a multi-property page, you can do a single property page, you can do a seller squeeze, which is like a home valuation squeeze page, and then there's also a market report squeeze page. The great thing about this is that you can use KiwiCore's hashtag system to be able to track where these leads are coming from. And then you can source it as well. So if you are making this squeeze page for your personal Facebook page or your business Facebook page or your LinkedIn or whatever other website you choose to post on, you can type in the source in this section here so that you can track your leads even further. So you know that if a lead comes in, it's hashtagged with hashtag personal Facebook multi-property, and then it's sourced also to your Facebook, so you're able to track where these leads are coming from. The multi-property squeeze page is nice because basically what it does is it sends whoever clicks on your link to a specific area to search in. So if you know that you have a lot of clients that are looking in a particular area, or you work in a particular area and you want to highlight some of the listings that are available in that area, this is a great way to do that. I'm going to do one for my neighborhood here, Edison Park. And this pulls from your MLS locations. So if obviously for your areas, you can choose that, or you can draw it on a map and make a little octagon or circle of whatever area you'd like to include. I'm going to do single family homes, and I'm going to do under $500,000 just because I feel like that's the sweet spot right now where people are looking. You can update the square footage, how many beds, how many baths, walkability, and add other options like just listed, fixer upper, newly built. I'm going to do just listed. And I'm going to post this today on my business Facebook page. So I'm just going to put business Facebook so that I know that it came from the business page and not my personal page. And then I'm just going to hashtag it with just listed EP, which is short for Edison Park in this area, if you're familiar, and save that hashtag. So now when anybody clicks on this link after I post it, and they enter their information, they'll automatically be hashtagged in my system. And why that's also important is that you can go in and set up campaigns as well to have those leads automatically get sent emails or set them up with an automatic search alert. So if a just listed EP hashtag comes in and I set up a campaign for those just listed, it's going to automatically set up a search alert for Edison Park for those people who click on those links. So once you put in all of your information here, it lets you choose what you want the front cover to be. You can use the listings from certain from the recent search results, a specific listing. You can pick random listings, just kind of whatever pops up along the way, or you can pick a specific picture from a specific listing that you want to highlight. I'm just going to use listings from the search alert, and then I'm going to generate the link. Really, it's up to you whether you want to use the direct link or the short link. I prefer the short link. I just think it looks neater. But if you're tech savvy and you want to change any of the information in here, what you can do is copy and paste this into like a notepad and edit the direct link for what you're looking for. So if you decide that you want to change the footage or you want to change the year built, you can go in and mess around with that if you're someone who's comfortable doing that. I'm not. I use my short link. I let the computer do its job. So you click the little copy button over here where it says copy to clipboard. Go to whatever social media account that you want to use. I'm going to post this on my business page. If it loads, that would be nice. There we go. Kidding. Come on, computer. There we go. I'm going to create a post in Facebook. And then you simply just paste the link into there and it will auto-populate with a preview. And then you can add just listed homes in Edison Park, Chicago's desire. And whatever else you want to put in there is your little, attention grabber. If I could spell, that would probably help too. Oh, what did I do? Oh, try that again. Check. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background. He really does not like when I'm working. He tries to shut my laptop on me all the time. No, like that. Just listed Chicago's.
What was the beginning of this? Was this a page or landing page?
This is a squeeze page. And then you can do multiple properties, single properties. If you don't like this picture, you can also swap it out for something that you like. You go and save a picture and then get rid of this one and add it. That's a little bit, I know Jeremy Swires had touched on that last week a little bit when we went into it. I would have to go back and go over that ability again, just because it's a little bit more work. But once you post this listed real estate EXP Realty. And then once you post this on your page, they click on it and they get automatically sent to listings that are in that area that you've chosen. So the search is already put in there. It allows you to share with any of the other groups that you have too. That's a Facebook thing. So here's what that post looked like. If you don't like this picture, like I said, you can go through and change it on the KV Core side. But then say somebody clicks on it, this is where your lead capture comes in, is that they pick a house to look at on this list that's already made. View details, it's gonna let them look at one or two pictures, and then it's gonna ask them to register on the website. And then once they register, they'll be hashtagged with the hashtag that you assign to that squeeze page, and we'll have them automatically sent into your system. So you can do this the same way with single properties. This one would be more for like if you wanted to promote a listing or something that was just sold, you'd put in the MLS ID here. And then same thing with the source and the hashtags to be able to track where those links are coming from. I like to do one of these probably a week on each one of my sites. People are nosy and they like to look at what's listed in certain areas. You can change it to be, you can use this one, like I said, and Eric just used this to do for one of the houses he just sold, to search other houses in that area. So I just sold this one. Here's, if you're looking for other homes in this area, click here, and it'll bring them to that listing and then allow them to search for other listings that are similar. The seller squeeze will set them up for the seller valuation or on your EXP front facing face. Oh my gosh, brain just farted. I apologize. It will send them to this page on your website to put in their address and hopefully grab their information to get those seller leads. And then the market report is similar, and that sets them up a market report. I will do this one. I'm going to put this one on my LinkedIn. Norwood Park. I know that a lot of my followers are in my neighborhood. A lot of my friends, a lot of my family that follow. I'm going to do personal Facebook page here, or I'll do LinkedIn. Hashtag Nord Park market reports. And generate the link, copy it to your clipboard, and go to whatever social media page you want to post. Get a free market report by clicking the link below. Free.
Got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nicole, on the links that you use, I was going through one of the trainings about posting on Facebook, and one of the things they were saying is you use the long link versus the short link. Evidently, something in Facebook basically looks for long links versus a short link, or it likes the long link to the short.
Yeah, it's something with their Facebook tracking, and how they their algorithm. I'm not 100% knowledge savvy on that distinction. I like the short link just for my own personal preference. It looks cleaner to me. I like it. But I would have to look into that a little bit further, as far as Facebook's algorithms and what it prefers as far as posting on their or tracking what you post on Facebook.
Yeah, just a quick note on that. Because I've been working on Facebook lead gen, and specifically using our systems in order to make sure that I can pull good leads in, and also connect them up through Zapier and things like that. So,
yeah. So the long link is better for Zapier, I believe.
Okay.
Gotcha. But Zapier is one of those things that I'm slowly getting into. I'm a little overwhelmed by it. I'm not exactly sure how it all works. It ideally connects all of your social media and internet presence content in one place and allows you to track a little bit better. It's a big pool to dive into. So I'm still learning that myself. So before I don't want to speak on it too much just because it's something that I'm still learning as well. But yeah, I mean, all of these are great tools. The landing pages are great things to do as well in building a landing page like this and copying, pasting those links. All of this stuff is editable, changeable. You can put whatever you want in here. To do lead capture, address captures. If you want to have a Facebook chat option, you can change the background picture. You can have this be for a specific property or for open houses. There's a ton of ways to use these landing pages. And this is one of those things, the more you just kind of monkey around with it, the more comfortable you get working with these things. But there are a ton of options as far as getting those free leads coming in. Did anybody else have any other questions? I want to stay on time for us.
You're good. Nicole, you can go for like 10 more minutes if you need to. I think this is great. I think that, capturing people, it's a very free and easy way. And once people click on, they get caught in your website looking at properties, then there's a good chance that if you follow up with them right and get them into a smart campaign, they're going to use you as their broker. So it's such a valuable tool.
Yeah, and I mean, it's huge to have those smart campaigns set up. So if anybody's having a hard time with the smart campaigns or has any questions about those, that's another thing that it took me a little while to get comfortable and figuring out how to set up all of those hashtags, but I can definitely do more of the campaign building in another session on another day. I did also just want to point out, do you have the option of and manually entering any of your coming soon listings? This is one that I am working on setting up. I have this listing coming up.
Go over this very slowly, please, because I need this right now. And I'm sure a lot of people in this room do too.
So when you have a new listing, like this is a listing that I will be putting up hopefully on Wednesday as soon as I get my pictures back. But I want the ability to promote it as a coming soon and be able to kind of get the information out there and get people kind of hungry for more information regarding this awesome house that I have, in my pocket at the moment. So this is under listings. You click on manual listings, and then it gives you the opportunity to add a listing here. And what it has you do is it has you put in all of the property location information, all of the property details, and then you're able to add photos or descriptions or anything else that you want to add into the listing. Let me edit this guy. You can put the neighborhood that it's in if you want to be a little bit more specific. In Chicago, that's a big thing. People refer to where they live by their neighborhoods or by the parks or, landmarks, and not so much, what part of the city. You either live in Bucktown or Norwood Park or Westtown or Garfield Bridge or wherever you're living. So having that neighborhood identifier is huge in the city. It allows you to put in what kind of listing type. So if it's an exclusive listing, a coming soon, or a sold, it gives you those three options. And your property type, so whatever the property is, and then you add in all of the information that you have regarding your listing. You can put in a link to a virtual tour if you have one already. You can add schools that are in the area, walkability, all the specifics, whether or not it's new construction or has a pool, and just kind of add all of that information in there as you go. And then you're able to add pictures. I was having problems uploading my pictures, so I'm actually going to delete these ones. For some reason, I couldn't get them because I took them with my iPhone just to have a couple pictures to throw up. And for whatever reason, it didn't matter how many times I flipped it. They didn't want to stay straight.
Hey, Nikki, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So, if someone has a coming soon listing, and let's just say somebody like me, I don't have a signed listing agreement yet. The listing agreement's out there, and it's probably going to be signed today or tomorrow. But because of that, because I'd be paranoid that I throw up the address and somebody calls the seller directly before I get it listed, is there a way where you can just throw it up there without the address? Will it still allow you to post it to Facebook?
You need an address, but it doesn't, you don't have to post this to the MLS or anything like that. This is just in your pocket.
Right. But I mean, where are you going with this? This is going to be sent out to potentially you're going to put this on Facebook, correct?
So this is also for your seller too. You can build a pitch sheet, and it creates just kind of a little list of how many active buyers you have that are looking for a house in that price range in the area that you're listing. And it gives you kind of a little quick breakdown. So if you have a seller that's like, nobody's going to buy my house, or we're listing it too high, or we're listing it too low. This is just a quick little rundown of how many. These are just people that we already have in our system.
I see.
So
this is just an EXP system. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
But then it also gives you the ability to send out an email, generate a QR code, have a flyer, post this as a coming soon to any of your social media pages, and just have that sent out. You can email the listing to your sphere, or if you already have people in your system that are looking for that, and kind of do a reverse prospecting, or send it out to any of your brokers or lenders or people that you work with as a coming soon email. And it's nice to have the extra, just have it there and have the ability to generate those QR codes or print a flyer out for it. I don't know why that's not working right now.
This is a really awesome feature, by the way. I really like that whole thing where you can show your seller the buyers that are already interested, and that's just in our system. So
right.
That's 20 times 400 brokerages. So that's a really powerful tool. Love this. This is great.
Yeah. So, and obviously the more information that you have to be able to put in your manual listing, the better it is. And the more searchable it is, because this also allows EXP agents to find it when they search. So it's as a coming soon listing, and have them reach out to you directly. You can also put in any of your sold there if you want to use those They'll be on, I believe they show up on your carousel. I have to double check that on the Facebook page or on your web page. I know there's some connection to the manual listings that you put in. All right. Anybody have any questions on any of that?
That was awesome.
And
Really
then once
awesome
I get
stuff.
that up and running, I am going to put it into the playbook just because I really enjoy that.
So playbook cannot be used for a manual list coming soon. It has to be in the MLS. Is that accurate?
My listings, hold on. Yeah. I don't think it has to be already listed in the MLS.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, there's no option for those. But the playbook's awesome because it sets everything up for you and sets up the property boost and sends out the emails and whatnot. They did get rid of the ability to email it to all of the brokers in your area, which I don't like so much. I guess it was a spam issue in that there were brokers that were complaining about the amount of emails that were coming through regarding that. But that was one of the things that I really loved about it when they first rolled it out, and then they quickly got rid of it. So I've talked to some of the ideal estate people and the people who run the conversion and KV core programs, and it would have to be something that we ask for as a brokerage as a whole to be able to do for specific states. Do private listings also come up when you do a search in KV core? That's a good question.
I ask phenomenal questions.
Let me see.
That was Romney's question.
That was
there.
Romney. I'll take
Oh.
credit for that.
Whoops.
I'll take that credit.
Sorry, Romney. Wow, I love how quickly all you are to call me out.